news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. And there's your closing bell for this Monday on Wall Street, where a rally in several tech giants lifted stocks. And we bring you the closing numbers each day here at Bloomberg. The S&P 500 gained 86 points. NASDAQ gained 553 points. That's more than 2% higher. And the Dow gained 306 points. The 10-year Treasury yield at 4.37%. The 2-year yield at 4.1%. WTI crude oil not quite 2% higher now, around $70.55 a barrel. And Brent crude is a little more than 1% higher, around $73 a barrel. A big day at the Supreme Court, which ruled that Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook is able to keep her job for now as she fights President Trump's attempts to fire her over unproven mortgage fraud allegations. Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Brett Kavanaugh sided with the liberal justices on the case, making the vote 5-4. Bloomberg's Tyler Kendall.
The Chief Justice added in this decision, quote, monetary policy should not be subject to political interference. And that gives us a little bit more of a broader sense on how the justices were thinking about what those ripple impacts would be if a Fed governor was removed, how it would impact the central bank's independence and the broader economy.
Cook released a statement saying that she is grateful for the decision for the sake of political independence of the central bank. Now, along those lines, the Supreme Court also decided the president can fire top government officials, a decision that expands the power of the Oval Office. The ruling lets President Trump fire Democratic Federal Trade Commission member Rebecca Kelly Slaughter, despite a law that says commissioners can be removed only for specified reasons. President Trump reacted to the ruling.
It gives me the right, and not me, it gives a president the right to do what the president should have the right to do. And it's very interesting. It's a big ruling. It's been going on for almost 100 years. But it bestows additional powers, or maybe the same power, on the president. The president has the right to do this, and that has to do with a lot of agencies all throughout the system.
The 6-3 decision overturns a 1935 precedent that laid the legal groundwork for the modern administrative state. The Supreme Court also ruled that mail-in ballots can be counted after Election Day, preserving grace periods in 30 states. Justice Amy Coney Barrett and Chief Justice John Roberts joined the court's liberals in the majority. President Trump called it a tremendous loss and urged Congress to pass the Save America Act, which changes how Americans register to vote and enforces voter roll purges. The justices left intact a jury's finding that President Trump sexually abused and then defamed E. Jean Carroll, allowing her to collect $5 million in damages. The justices refused to hear Trump's appeal. More decisions are expected to come tomorrow, including a possible ruling on birthright citizenship. Now, President Trump says Iran has requested a meeting with U.S. counterparts, and that meeting is set for tomorrow in Doha, Qatar.
Perhaps important, perhaps not. We're going to find out. But we're winning militarily. It's almost won militarily, I would say. And it's really very simple. It's the denuclearization of Iran. We don't want them to have a nuclear weapon, and they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And they've agreed to that.
But Iran says a delegation will be in Qatar, but they've ruled out talks with the U.S. Supermicro Computer's offices in Taiwan were raided by government authorities, part of an investigation into the alleged smuggling of NVIDIA chips into China using the company's servers. Local investigators also raided the homes of 6 individuals. The investigation is part of Taiwan's crackdown on AI chip diversion. SMCI shares fell 8% in regular trading. Shares of Comcast ended the day about 5% higher off its highs of the session on plans to split its media and technology business into separate publicly traded companies. Bloomberg's Dan Curtis.
NBC Universal and Sky will be spun off into a publicly traded company called NBC Universal. The separation is expected to be completed in about 1 year, and Comcast shareholders will own shares of both Comcast and NBC Universal when it's spun off.
Bloomberg's Dan Curtis reports NBC Universal will hold the theme parks division, Universal Film and Television Studios, NBC and Telemundo Networks, Peacock and Bravo, as well as the European media business, Sky. The remaining Comcast will hold the company's broadband, wireless, and cable TV business. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris, and this is Bloomberg.